morning, beautiful people on the internet. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. RB and Red Bull might be the single most problematic team in the entire existence of Formula 1. That might be a tad bit of an exaggeration, but let's flick back a couple years to 2019. The shenanigans of those seasons, do we even bother delving deep into them? Sure, maybe for a little moment. Presenting the Toro Rosso with Sebastian
gets
Vettel.
its moment in the sun. Sebastian Vettel is a Grand Prix winner.
Daniel Ricciardo also being a great and experienced driver, surely he should be able to replicate the same thing, right? RB can be faster than the 2024 Red Bull under Daniel Ricciardo's wing, maybe? No? Anyway, 2024 is very different and has a lot more issues. Well then, Sergio Perez yet again, another masterclass in qualifying around Hungary, P16, but that's another crash. So, Yuki Tsunoda also in the hunt, not looking too good. Airborne, this isn't a NASA rocket show contest, this is, yeah. Recent events have to be taken into consideration. Yuki Tsunoda starting to get all antsy about, ooh, will I get that seat? Ooh, will I not get that seat? Because Liam Lawson might be looking like the next contender, filling in for some media days. Ooh, maybe it might be his time and not Yuki's. And Yuki Tsunoda might be a tiny bit sad and cry. Sergio Perez is still kind of confident that he has that seat locked down for at least this year and next year. However, recent events don't really show that is actually going to happen. In the last 6 races, knocked out a Q1 4 times. And I don't see him being in the top 8 at all. Sprinkle in a couple crashes and another one added to the pile in qualifying. And Yuki Tsunoda, he can add an extra one into qualifying. Or another crash. And that doesn't help him either. Because Daniel Ricciardo, clean qualifying yet again. And Liam Lawson, he's not crashing in Formula 1, is he? I don't see him. All Sergio Perez needs is one good, clean race weekend without any crashes, without being half a second down on his teammate, and currently, that hasn't happened since China. So, the hunt for that second Red Bull seat is getting, well, it's increasing rapidly every single race. One race, it's, oh my god, Daniel Ricciardo, that might be his seat. The next, Yuki Tsunoda, and then the next, Liam Lawson, and currently, Liam Lawson is getting more into the equation than Yuki Tsunoda. And Yuki Tsunoda is kind of crying about it. And his crash doesn't really help him. But what doesn't help is Sergio Perez, yet again, fumbles the bag. Yet again. P16? P16.
Well, Daniel Ricciardo or Yuki Tsunoda might not be in a championship battle, but if you want to see a more entertaining season that we've had 2 or 3 years, then like and subscribe. Otherwise, Lando, Verstappen, they won't be battling. It will just be a free, easy win for Verstappen. Like and subscribe. Otherwise, it will not happen.
Oh, Yuki. Tsunoda. Every Formula 1 driver's aim in Formula 1 is to become a world champion. On some occasions that happens and it comes into fruition and it's like, wow, you actually did a thing.
But the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021.
But in most cases, it doesn't. But Yuki Tsunoda, his dream isn't to be a world champion, although he's a Formula 1 driver, it's to own a restaurant. And I guess, honestly, fair enough. He's been doing an alright job at that, because he's been sending Daniel Ricciardo to the shops pretty much every single race this entire season. So, fair play. And this year, from the get-go, it seemed like Yuki Tsunoda wasn't going to give any leeway or patience or any free points over to Daniel Ricciardo, fighting over 13th and 14th in Bahrain. Yuki Tsunoda was pissed that he had to let Daniel Ricciardo pass. You're fighting for nothing, but he was still more mad than ever. After the race, he was swerving on the track like a drunk Russianman, avoiding potholes, avoiding other cars, but he didn't manage to avoid Daniel Ricciardo. That might have been on purpose, that might not have been. Tsunoda has been out to get Daniel Ricciardo. He's been out to also ruin his career, reputation, name, his seat, everything to do with the Daniel Ricciardo name. And he's honestly been doing a darn good job at that, because every single race it seemed like he was scoring points. Well, every single race. Points where the car shouldn't be in the points. Points where Daniel Ricciardo was finishing 17th, 18th, and Yuki Tsunoda was somehow securely in the points. Where has this come from? A driver that a couple seasons ago wasn't the greatest. A driver that a couple seasons ago I thought was going to be
booted out of the sport. It's a filler driver. He's in the sport a couple seasons, and then bye-bye after a couple seasons. Like Zhou Guanyu, is he going to be in the sport next year? No. He was like a Marcus Ericsson, a Stoffel Van Dorn. You're there, and then you're gone.
However, things have recently changed, and the Red Bull seat? Maybe?
And beating Daniel Ricciardo, a driver of the caliber that has won races in the past, that is potentially, maybe on occasions, ooh, championship might be brewing. A driver that has won Monaco, Perez has also won Monaco, and how is he good? Anyway.
And Red Bull, they're all kind of just ignoring these performances like it happens every single day. Yuki Tsunoda barely ever puts a foot out of line. But then you got Sergio Perez, who, well, Yuki Tsunoda is basically competing for his seat. And what is Sergio Perez doing? He's been treacherous for a long time. And they're still giving him more and more chances? Why?
I expected the Daniel Ricciardo name to pretty much slap up Yuki Tsunoda, but that hasn't really happened. It's been quite to the opposite. Yuki Tsunoda has dug a 2 feet deep grave for Ricciardo. He has no time to dig a 6 feet deep grave. Bro's too busy scoring points.
However, it seems like the tables have kind of turned. Daniel Ricciardo getting to grips back again. Yay.
And surely Sergio Perez, with his quite poor performance, not just one poor performance, but a lot of poor performances. I'm not just talking about the crashes, look past those. I'm talking about the continuous P8s, P9s, P10s, whilst your teammate, Max Verstappen, is winning races, winning championships. You are treacherous compared to him. You barely make it out of Q1, you don't even make it into Q3 on most occasions, in the fastest car on the grid, and you call yourself a Red Bull caliber driver? You're not. I can guarantee you, put Kevin Magnussen in that car, put Jev, put Nick De Vries, they will all do better than Sergio Perez. Yet, in some miraculous world, he signs a contract for Red Bull yet again.
What the fuck?
The only reason why Yuki Tsunoda has re-signed another contract in RB, the only reason why he's still there, is because he wants that Red Bull seat. But if that's not even an option, then what's the point of being in that RB team? Oh, yeah, no, genuinely, there's no point. And I don't think Red Bull are even considering Yuki Tsunoda as a valid option, because we've seen it in the past. Pierre Gasly, he won a race in an AlphaTauri. How have you done that? Yes, it was a big sprinkle of luck. But the next season, 2021, they didn't even look at Pierre Gasly. They looked past him, went to Sergio Perez. So who's going to say that Yuki Tsunoda isn't going to get looked by? I mean, he's already gotten looked by. It was Daniel Ricciardo this, Daniel Ricciardo that at the start of the season. All of those rumors, well, they pretty much got buried into the ground alongside with Daniel Ricciardo's career. But that's just quite proven.
However, it seems like the talks of Ricciardo Red Bull might be coming back, and the talks of Liam Lawson and Red Bull are starting to brew up even more. And the Yuki Tsunoda ones is just dimmed down under the carpet like it's not there. It's just, his crash doesn't really help either, does it?
I can guarantee you, even if Yuki Tsunoda were to win a race in Formula 1, Red Bull wouldn't look at him. Let's be 100% real. There are many different other options that Red Bull can have. Red Bull being the most prestigious team on the grid at the moment. Why would they want Yuki Tsunoda? There's Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Lando Norris, Hamilton. And you put Yuki Tsunoda... No, Yuki Tsunoda... Oh, Alonso. Yuki Tsunoda. That's just... I'm sorry. In your wildest dreams, in a daydream, in a dream, that's not happening. And if RB are only hanging on to Yuki Tsunoda like a leash on a dog so he doesn't run away in that RB seat, oh, you might get the Red Bull seat. You're probably not going to, but you might get it. That hope, that chance. I don't think that's going to last too long, because if Yuki Tsunoda can't get that Red Bull seat, then what's the point of being in RB? Look for a better seat. Alonso, he might be retiring soon. He's hitting that age of oldness and, well, grey hair, a bit of a wrinkly face, hair might be falling out, you know. Reaction times are getting slower. The walking stick, I've seen him with the walking stick. And the big fallout between Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso slowly coming into fruition, like Alonso has done with every other team that he's been a part of. I think, you know, Yuki Tsunoda has other options, whether it be Aston Martin, whether it be, I don't know, something else, but not, it's just not going to be Red Bull. What's the point of staying?
soon enough they might lose a pretty decent driver in Yuki Tsunoda. But is he even that good? The last couple races, well, they haven't been all that. They've been like the Logan Sargent races, but without the crashes. Just a couple spins, a couple mistakes, a couple well, they've been very poor, let's be real. Is he all that, or is he too hyped up? We all know the saying, you're only as good as your last race. It's kind of a bit iffy on some occasions, because Lando Norris, DNF, last race. Does that mean that he's the 20th worst, best driver on the grid? Does he mean that he's of the same standards as Logan Sargent, as Kevin Magnussen, as Latifi? No, Pastor? No. Sometimes it's a bit of a lie. You kind of have to take it with a pinch of salt. But Danny Ricciardo, his last race finished P9. Kind of lucky. Would have been out of the points if it wasn't for, well, the shenanigans of Verstappen and Lando and whatever Leclerc was doing throughout the entire race. But still, at this point, Daniel Ricciardo will take any position in the points that he possibly can every single race because, well, throughout the season, he has been getting slapped up by Yuki Tsunoda. But in the last 3 races, this has kind of changed. Canada, Yuki Tsunoda, couple mistakes here and there. Ooh, wasn't too good. Daniel Ricciardo maybe slightly was cooking. Maybe slightly did get put into a spliff by Alex Albon, but that's the only thing that really went wrong in that race. Spain was a write-off for both drivers. The car was absolutely dreadful, looking like the 2021 Haas, but still, Daniel Ricciardo faster than Yuki Tsunoda. And Austria as well, scoring points where Yuki Tsunoda can't. Has Daniel Ricciardo actually learned his lesson? Has all the hate, has all the trash talk about him, not just from the fans who literally basically know nothing about the sport, but, you know, Helmut Marko, Jacques Villeneuve. Ooh, a lot of criticism and a lot of people that don't want him in that seat. But the last 3 races do speak a lot. It honestly does says a lot. The dream of Daniel Ricciardo getting into Red Bull, that might be over, but the dream of staying in Formula 1 might have come back into reality. That might be realistic because, well, Daniel Ricciardo just wants to hope to stay in Formula 1. It's honestly just a game at this point. Red Bull RB, they have so many different options. Sergio Perez can go into RB. Liam Lawson can go into RB. Daniel Ricciardo could be sacked and no second glances could be looked to him because nobody cares in that team. It's winning or losing. It's not emotions. It's not happy or sad. It's just winning or losing. And at the moment, they've been doing a lot of winning, but Daniel Ricciardo has been doing a lot of losing, so that just kind of doesn't fit that team. It might have taken Daniel Ricciardo a couple races to get his confidence in the car, to get into grips with the car. I don't know why it would take that long, because, well, he's been racing since 2011. 2011, the class of 2011, agreed, wasn't the greatest. Half of them aren't even in the sport. And then you got Sergio Perez, who's been Sergio Perezing this year. But even if, given the benefit of the doubt, even if it took Daniel Ricciardo a couple races to get to grips with the car, and he's been, well, moderately cooking ever since. It's like, it's not your Nobu, it's not your Nando's, it's not anything amazing. It's more like your Morley's or your KFC. It's just, you know, it's just what you expect to get for whatever you pay for. They're getting scammed either way. Daniel Ricciardo is probably costing them boat tons, and he's providing them with little to nothing. But hey, I think the next 10 or so races really do determine Daniel Ricciardo's career. Does he stay in RB for another season? Does he improve? Does he still get better than Yuki Tsunoda? And does he actually cook? Because I think it's about time. That Red Bull seat is very fragile. The contract between Sergio Perez and Red Bull could be ripped up any day. And if he cooks up right now, the seat could be his. Yuki Tsunoda looking kind of stressed out, and eyes are more placed on Liam Lawson. But at the same time, Liam Lawson isn't no Daniel Ricciardo. So just cook up Daniel Ricciardo. It's your seat, free. It's not like he hasn't cooked in the past in the RB and the AlphaTauri, because he has. 2023, he was cooking until he overfried it and hit the barrier in Zandvoort. Mexico was low-key a cook session. Brazil was also a cook session if he wasn't a lap down at the start of the race. The Miami sprint race was an absolute masterclass, and there were many things that Daniel Ricciardo has been, like, genuinely good. But there's also been a lot of genuinely bad things. But hey, if in the next 10 races he improves and is better than Yuki Tsunoda every single race, then what's the point of dropping him? What's the point of letting him go? I think there will be more eyes and glances at Yuki Tsunoda. How have you let this happen? Daniel Ricciardo,
he was nothing compared to you at the start of the season. But now, look at him. He's great, and you're... Ugh.
But I think something that we can all agree on is that Sergio Perez is going to get dropped after Spa, Belgium, mid-season break, and either Lawson, Ricciardo, and I don't know, maybe Yuki Tsunoda will replace him. But it's not looking good for Yuki. It's kind of looking better for Daniel and Lawson.
Anyway, hope you enjoyed. If there's any more conundrums that you think that RB are currently having in their current situations, let me know down in the comments and watch there, subscribe and like. I don't know why you wouldn't, because you're not real if you don't. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Don't die because then you can't watch other videos. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, peace.